What's up guys, Overman here, and in today's video I wanted to show you guys the pulse rifle 3 little words available from the Crucible Quartermaster for 150 Crucible marks and 1 Crucible commendation. 3 little words has the highest impact of all the pulse rifles available in the game. So if you're a good shot, this thing can kill in 2 bursts in the Crucible, and that's insane. So let's take a look at the upgrades on this thing. First sight we have is red dot ores. This is one of my favorite sights in the game, but for some reason I just don't like it aesthetically on the 3 little birds. That's not to say it's a bad sight though, because the dot is very small, which allows for some precision shooting, which is very nice. Next up we've got the range scope. This one's nice for ranged engagements, obviously. It's very clear and precise, which really helps it out in those long range situations. And overall, I really liked using this one before I got to the final upgrade, which was red dot ores. This one reminds me of the hollow sight from Modern Warfare 2, and that was my favorite sight in Modern Warfare 2. I find that I'm very accurate with this one, and personally, I just find it more satisfying to use. But I wouldn't call you crazy if you thought the dot was too big on this one and preferred one of the other sights like red dot ores or the ranged scope. So our first bonus is Head Seeker. Body shots briefly increase precision damage, and this sounds great because when you use a pulse rifle, generally the first shot is a body shot and then 1 or 2 shots after that will land on the head. And this is a nice damage bonus in PvE, but it doesn't make that much of a difference in PvP. And in PvE, I find that I'm always aiming for precision shots anyways, so like all 3 of my shots will hit the critical spot. So in those situations, I don't take advantage of the perk, but other times I do. So I'm not too big of a fan of this perk. Personally, I would much rather see something like Feeding Frenzy here to make up for 3 little words slightly long reload animation. The 3 little words will do 38 precision damage, and with Head Seeker, it'll do 41 damage, a whopping 3 extra damage. Isn't gonna change anything in PvP, sadly. So this perk, in my opinion, is kind of wasted. It's not bad for PvE, but it's really useless for PvP. In the second tree we have Snapshot, high caliber rounds, and fitted stock. Personally, I don't notice much of a difference with Snapshot on, but maybe that's because I'm expecting something similar to Sleight of Hand, but I just don't feel like it's as useful as the other upgrades, and I don't notice a difference when I unequip it. So the second upgrade is high caliber rounds, and these will stagger bitches in PvE and throw off your opponent's aim in PvP. To what degree though, I'm not sure, but some people swear by this perk. And finally, fitted stock will make this weapon a lot easier to use and more effective at a distance. So personally, I go with fitted stock, but I think high caliber rounds are also a viable option if you find that the recoil isn't that big of an issue for you. However, I will say though, I wasn't getting too many 2 burst kills in the Crucible without fitted stock. So that's why I run fitted stock on it. And the final perk is Third Eye, which is already a great perk for PvP, but an amazing perk to have on a pulse rifle, or any ranged weapon for that matter. So when you're using your pulse rifle, you always want to be aware of your surroundings, and if someone's getting close to you, you'll have to switch to your secondary weapon quickly to handle them. Third Eye just allows you to be more prepared for when someone tries to run up and put that gun on you. So before the patch 1.1.1, I really disliked pulse rifles that weren't called bad juju in PvE because I felt like they just did not do enough damage. That's not the case with 3 little words now after the buff, because this thing is very usable. Generally, you'll kill a tier 1 enemy in 1 to 2 bursts. Generally, if you want to kill in 1 burst, you're gonna have to hit all precision shots on that tier 1 enemy. If one of those shots miss and hits the body, you'll have to fire another burst at them. I find that if you're consistently getting precision shots with this weapon, 3 little words can handle those yellow bar enemies. Personally though, I find that the 3 little words is a little bit lackluster against enemies with shields, especially enemies like Minotaurs that have shields and no crit spot. Something else that I find to be an issue with 3 little words in PvE is the clip size. I wish it was a little bit bigger. I feel like I can kill a lot more enemies with a standard scout rifle than I can with this weapon. That's in part due to the clip size, and the reload animation takes quite a while. So I really wish I had something like Feeding Frenzy in that first bonus slot instead of Head Seeker, because that would turn this weapon into a beast. And that reminds me that this weapon really shines on a gunslinger because of those precision kill bonuses that you get on the gunslinger. Chain of Woe and Gunslinger's Chance are very useful on a pulse rifle, especially the 3 little words, because you'll get bonus stability, which is always good on a pulse rifle, and bonus reload speed, which is great on 3 little words. And if you're a Defender Titan, you can get a bonus reload speed by using Force Barrier, though that's not as consistent as Gunslinger's Trance and Chain of Woe though. Overall, I think 3 little words is effective in PvE, but I don't see myself using this for the highest end PvE content like raids and nightfalls. For those activities, I'll stick to my bread and butter scout rifles and hand cannons, but honestly this is just personal preference. I've been using scout rifles and hand cannons for a long time, so I'm gonna have a little bias towards them, and I feel a lot more comfortable with them. Maybe over time I'll find that the pulse rifles can hang with the scout rifles and hand cannons, but for right now I prefer to use these in lower level strikes. Now in PvP, PvP, three little words is a monster. In my pulse rifle tips video, I said that pulse rifles should probably be used as support weapons. I was totally wrong. I just needed to get used to using them in the Crucible, because you can totally wreck face with this weapon in Rumble all by yourself without playing a support role. So you don't have to play a support role with pulse rifles. I was totally wrong about that. You can really wreck face with this weapon because it's so deadly if you can consistently get all 3 shots to land and get a couple of precision shots in that burst. You'll end up killing people really quickly, a lot of times in just 2 bursts with this weapon. It's absolutely insane how quickly you can kill. I think the 3 little words rewards a good shot really well, and I'm really happy with how much damage this thing can do if you can consistently get 3 shots to land and get those headshots. And a lot of times opponents just cannot keep up with you. And I'm glad that I haven't faced anybody using this thing, because it would be downright frustrating to die so quickly to a pulse rifle. In my opinion, this isn't as difficult to use as a hand cannon, and you're not punished nearly as hard for not hitting those precision shots. You'll still kill in a reasonably low amount of time as long as you can consistently hit all 3 shots from your burst. The only time I have trouble using 3 little words is when I'm up against fast moving targets like a blade dancer using blink, for example. Overall, I really don't have too many complaints about the 3 little words in the Crucible, and that's partly because in the Crucible levels don't matter, so I can equip some blue gauntlets that'll give me a bonus to my pulse rifle reload speed, which turns this thing into a beast, because then I'll have a reasonable reload speed. Oh, and I forgot to mention the third eye perk works so well on this gun, like it does on any ranged weapon. This perk really saves my ass sometimes because it'll help me get the jump on people who are trying to rush me. And although after the patch, pulse rifles have become a force to be reckoned with, this weapon isn't really for an overly aggressive player. In my experience, 3 little words just does not thrive in those short range situations. It really thrives in the medium range, in my opinion. Especially after the nerfs to auto rifles, they just simply cannot compete with you if you're hitting your shots consistently, like I've been saying. You know, I'm really struggling to find something negative to say about the 3 little words in PvP, but honestly, I'm just really feeling this weapon, and I've been doing pretty well with it, to be honest. So, if you're looking for a new pulse rifle to use in the Crucible after the patch 1.1.1, I highly recommend the 3 little words because of how low the CTK is on this gun in the Crucible. It's just ridiculous. Plus, with third eye, you can do so well with this gun. It's hard to sneak up on somebody with the 3 little words because they're always gonna know when you're coming. And I know that if I had to play against somebody who was skilled with pulse rifles while using this gun, I'd be frustrated as fuck because I know it would be really hard to outplay them because they have such a good weapon. If you're looking for a pulse rifle for PvE, I don't think you can go wrong with the 3 little words because of the high impact and how quickly you can dispatch of enemies. However, I don't think this weapon is gonna blow you away in PvE necessarily like it will in PvP. If you're looking for an overall weapon though, one to use in both, I can actually recommend this weapon, but I'd say for PvE, make sure you have a good sniper rifle to deal with those higher tier enemies. So, final verdict, 3 little words is definitely worth a buy. I don't think it's a must buy, but I think it's worth a buy if you're looking for a good pulse rifle. It's a solid weapon in PvE, and if you're a good shot, you can put in tons of work in PvP. That's all I got for this video. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to smash that like button. If you're not feeling too shy, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about the 3 little words. Have you ever had one, and are you going to buy one? And if you'd like to, you can follow me on Twitter. The link will be in the description. And of course, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. That's it for me. Overman out.